Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back on the vlog, back on the movie news. And the first thing I want to talk about, that they released yesterday they released the new teaser trailer for the Fantastic Four, or the Fantastic Four reboot, And now when I first heard about the new Fantastic Four reboot, um I was not interested before, I mean, I still wasn't, and when they now found, and plus what I heard about with the cast and how they, of course, the some changes they do, but I wasn't totally interested in it from the beginning though. So now I've seen the new teaser, and the teaser, it didn't impress me. It didn't impress me. I'm still interested like I was from a while back. It just wasn't interesting to me. Though, again, given my thoughts on on how what I saw in the trailer. Um, well, first of all, it had to tell an origin story again. It's the same as we do, like we didn't need to tell the origin story of the Fantastic Four again. It was the same thing with the Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man didn't. Same thing with that. We didn't need to know the origin story again about Peter Parker. It's the same thing. We just didn't need to get another origin story of how they became the Fantastic Four. We got that already once from the 2005 film. So and one of the things that in the trailer was that it barely showed how the it barely showed much of the Fantastic Four. Well, it showed like how Ben became the Thing, like how he, for a brief 1 second scene, he pops out of the ground, like looked like he popped out of the ground or something like that, Or in a brief second scene, like Johnny in flames, Or like towards the end, it showed like a second, like a Reed, how he supposedly stretches his arm like that, But you didn't see his arm fully stretch out. Just like get like a close image, and the arm was more like this. You didn't see how it fully stretched, You never saw how um oh what was her name? Who the name who was Invisible Woman? I forgot what the character name was, but I forgot what was it, Susan? Yeah, I believe it was Susan. You never saw her become invisible, and still no Doctor Doom, But the trailer it looks boring. It barely showed more of the scenery of the city and other places, in space, whatever, It looked boring and it didn't impress me, And and it comes towards the end, at the end of the trailer, and they show all four of them looking at something in the sky, And that was it. And I will do agree. I read a little bit on an article on Cinema Blend about regarding this film. It felt more science fiction than a superhero film. Guess what this teaser look? It didn't show much of the superheroes. It showed a couple 1 second scenes with them, but that was it. It barely showed anything about all four of them becoming the Fantastic Four, how they're fighting together or whatever. And just it seems like more like a film like Interstellar, Interstellar, that's what probably how best I could put it, It looks more like the look of that film of Interstellar looks like more like this, with less super. It looks more like that than a superhero film, So I will do agree with that, But it just didn't. I was not impressed with the teaser. So that's my giving my thoughts on this on the first teaser of the Fantastic Four reboot. Maybe it'll be different when they do the official trailer. But if it looks the same as a teaser, then I won't be. I'm not interested in seeing it. Well, I wasn't interested in seeing this from before though, but there are other superhero films I'm looking forward to seeing this year. I'm looking forward to seeing Avengers: Age of Ultron, which looks miles better. Just judging from the trailer, it looks miles better than Fantastic Four. Even Ant-Man, I'm looking forward to seeing. And that even Ant-Man, it shows Ant-Man in his Ant-Man suit. That looks more like a superhero film. But I will probably won't be seeing the Fantastic Four. So yeah, that's giving my quick thought, my thoughts on the Fantastic Four teaser. And moving on to the last thing that I wanted to share my thoughts on, and it's back on remakes. Movie remakes. I said time and time about how I feel about the remakes. Films nowadays have to be remade now. Hollywood tries to remake every single film. But there are films that there are remakes that I did enjoy. The remakes in this time frame. I do enjoy, especially in horror film remakes. I enjoy Dawn of the Dead. I enjoy Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What was the other one? The Hills of Eyes, Piranha. Even though that had some problems with in that remake, but I still liked Piranha. I didn't mind the Friday the 13th remake. So there are remakes I do like, especially horror film remakes. But of course not every horror film remake I don't like. There are ones I absolutely hate. Like especially Rob Zombie's Halloween, The Hitcher, the Amityville Horror, Nightmare on Elm Street. What the ones that I missed? Well, there's also another remake of a horror film I really do enjoy. I also enjoy House of Wax. That's another film I missed. But the other horror film remakes, the other horror film remakes that were not good. Even especially there were some that they did. Before 2000, like Psycho. That was another piece of shit film. What was there another one? Oh, that's another one. Black Christmas. That's another piece of shit remake. But I know I'm talking about horror film remakes. But of course there's some other remakes of some other films though. But getting to the point, that a rather line they're now announcing that they're trying to remake once again a remake of a remake. I heard they're remaking the Blob. Now the Blob from 1958 starring Steve McQueen I do like, but the 1988 remake directed by Chuck Russell I love to death. I absolutely love the death of the Blob 1980 remake. I love that film to death. I give a remake nothing but praise for, and I still got the poster right there if you want to quickly see. Once again, there's the poster right there next to Dredd and John Carpenter's The Thing. Those two right there are two of my all-time favorite horror film remakes. Two of the best of the remakes from the 80s, especially the other one, which is also David Cronenberg's The Fly. That's another great horror film remake from the 80s. Yeah, basically those three. But I don't have the poster for The Fly though. But I do love David Cronenberg's The Fly. Jeff Goldblum, outstanding, especially all the makeup and how he transforms into The Fly. But the Blob. Well, I read somewhere online that they were remaking again once again the Blob. Especially I heard about this since years ago when Rob Zombie was going to attempt at remaking this, you know. And I was like, oh my god, really? But thankfully, he dropped out of that. You know, he threw that idea away, you know. But now, but now they said they got a director, and that is Simon West. Simon West. Now he's directed like what was he directed like a few good films. I love Con Air. Con Air, I really do love, you know. Then he directed the General's Daughter with John Travolta. I like. I think he directed yeah, I believe so. He directed the first Lara Croft Tomb Raider film because I remember that the sequel with the sequel was directed by Jan de Bont, the director of Speed, you know, and Twister, you know. So yeah, he directed. I believe he directed the first Lara Croft film. I like that. I do like the film, but the sequel I just didn't care for though. But anyway, yeah. But I think those are the only 3 good films he's directed. Now recently, what he's been directing has been not good at all. These past years, you know. In 2006, he directed the remake of When a Stranger Calls, you know, and that was not good at all. That's another remake that I didn't mention that I do not like at all, you know. When a Stranger Calls, he directed that film and it sucked. Then he directed The Mechanic, which is a state film that sucked, and of course he directed The Expendables 2, you know. That's also sucked big time, you know. It's not, but that's not the worst film in the series. That's The Expendables 3 though, but I already did give my thoughts on that. But Expendables 2 he directed and it sucked. And now Simon West he's directing an upcoming film, another film with Jason Statham called Wild Card, which I think it's another, which is also Wild Card is also a remake. It's a film that starred Burt Reynolds, I believe. I saw also the trailer to that and it didn't interest me at all. So yeah. He's directing that film, but I have no interest in seeing Wild Card. And now he's also how he's chosen to be directing another remake of The Blob, and he says it's gonna be a full CGI Blob. And of course I read that one. He said it was gonna be a full CGI Blob, and I'm like, great. A shitty CGI Blob. I'm thinking, you know, it's gonna look real shitty, you know. I mean, what is this Blob? What is this? If he says it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good CGI. What's good compared to that CGI Blob and the Blob from 1988 directed by Chuck Russell? What's gonna be different from that? You know, the Blob in 1988. I believe there was no CGI at all. You know, there was a really cool, awesome special effects, you know, about how Chuck Russell and also Frank Darabont helped write on the film, you know, how they brought this Blob to life, you know. It made it more mobile, more cool, awesome, how the way it killed people, you know. And the Blob had a lot of cool deaths to it, you know. And that film also had a lot of likable characters like Kevin Dillon, Shawnee Smith, you know. Even the memorable line, especially the favorite line of the film, where Kevin Dillon said, "I think you pissed it off," you know. Love that line, you know. And especially cool, interesting deaths like how the Blob killed that guy by sucking the guy down through a sink, or how it also killed a kid, you know, in the sewer, or Deputy Briggs, you know, how the Blob killed him. It just folded and bended him backwards, you know, or the waitress in the phone booth, you know, how it surrounded the phone booth and how it got in, like the girl just like became like, how to describe it, like mushy, I would say, kind of like mushy, because she was like, you know, not like nothing, you know. It just had a lot of cool things. What is this CGI Blob is gonna do compared to the one in 1988, you know? This is Hollywood has never learned from their mistakes, you know. They just want to remake every single film, even if the film has already been remade, you know. You know, remake of a remake, you know. Why? completely unnecessary. It's a waste of money, you know. Especially on a director who's directed recently who's directed nothing but shit films as of recently, you know. And he's directing a remake of the Blob, and it's gonna be fully CGI. And I guarantee you, if they do a full CGI Blob, how it kills people is gonna be CGI. You know, just like how you see on on the Sci-Fi Channel, creature feature films. You know how terrible CGI creatures kill its victims. You know, they're all CGI with all CGI blood and everything, and it's terrible. You know. I bet it's gonna be the same thing with that. You know. It's just, if the film is gonna even if they probably have some good notable actors in it though, which I don't know, but who would star in a film with the Blob, you know? And if there ain't gonna be anywhere nowhere good as Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith or anybody else in that film, you know. Even Steve McQueen, you know, and no one will be nowhere as good as Steve McQueen in the original Blob either, you know. And that was the only horror film Steve McQueen ever did, you know. But comparing to that to the 1998 remake of the Blob, you know, especially I like especially the trailer to how the narrator describing how it was, you know, like if it had a mind, you can reason with it. If it had a face, you could look it in the eye. If it had a body, you can shoot it. Now, man is no longer the supreme being on this planet. Or you know the tagline that was also in the trailer, you know, which is also in the poster. Terror has no shape, you know. I'm just really dumbfounded about how low we have gotten to, you know, in the movie business. We now, even though a film has been remade or it's been remade already, I mean, it's going to be remade again. You know, remake of a remake, you know, basically, you know. Completely unnecessary. It's going to be a waste of money, you know. And it's going to be a shitty special effects, you know, especially the Blob, a full CGI Blob. I have no words to say about this, you know. The Blob 1988 remake directed by Chuck Russell. Love to death, you know. It's a kick-ass horror film. It's one of the best remakes of all time in my opinion, you know. Next to John Carpenter's The Thing, you know, and David Cronenberg's Fly. And those films were released in the 80s. And back in the 80s, they weren't thinking about remaking every single film back then, you know. They just felt like, you know, doing it and just reimagining it, you know. And all those films had a lot of great, awesome special effects, practical effects, how in John Carpenter's The Thing with the aliens transforming and the Blob, how it moves, you know. And they make us like another death in the Blob, how in the theater is picking up people one by one, or in the projection room, how one guy has it to attach to the ceiling, the guy's like all melted and stuff, awesome special effect, great, you know. Or David Cronenberg's Fly, how Jeff Goldblum, how he slowly transforms into this into this big fly, you know. Awesome special effects, you know, and that's what they did back in the 80s, you know. Did they use CGI too much? No. If they did, you know, it would be all right, you know, because they didn't use CGI that much. They all they did was really groundbreaking special effects, you know. That's what I liked about the 80s, especially in horror films like those. How they did creature feature films, you know, like those. Creature feature films today nowadays, this is now just too much of CGI, especially on sci-fi channels. Just all CGI, you know, especially Sharknado, you know, and I know everybody loves Sharknado, you know, but I don't understand why, you know. Even some dinosaur sci-fi dinosaur films, which at the times I watch, you know, see how good they are, but they're not that great anyway, you know. Even films that the horror films are bad, you know. Even the Carnosaur films, you know, they still used practical puppets, dinosaur puppets, you know, not CGI, you know. Even if they ever do remake of the Blob again. You know, if I see a trailer to it, if I know what it is, I'll honestly say, you know, the effects in Carnosaur, the puppets are still better than that. Even Jaws for the Revenge, that's considered one of the worst films ever made. You know, I said, I like about a little bit because they did like special. The practical effects of the shark, you know, would look better than a shitty CGI blob, you know. That's why at one point I still give props to, even though it probably see people say how bad the shark looks, you know, it will look better than a CGI blob, you know. Anyway, I don't want to talk anymore. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get more angry and angry at this. I don't want to blow my top, you know, because it takes a lot for me to get angry about this stuff. But I'm cutting it here now. So yeah. So that's giving my on this vlog on movie news. The teaser the teaser to the Fantastic Four didn't impress me. And then the news on this are remaking like the Blob yet again, especially by Simon West. You know, screw it. Screw this automatically. Yeah, I know I'm not judging it before I see it, but based on my knowledge, you know, and whatever how I feel on Hollywood today, you know, why not? I know you can judge it before, but see, compare. Just watch the. I'll just, if that film ever comes out, I'll just watch the Chuck Russell's 1988 remake of The Blob, and I'll sit down and watch that, and I'll get much more enjoyment from it, you know, and praising it more, you know. But it's all it's all my opinion. If people want to see this remake of The Blob, go right ahead. I'm not gonna stop you, you know. Everybody has opinions, you know, and in my personal opinion, this film is gonna suck if it does get made, you know. So yeah. So that's my vlog on teaser of the Fantastic Four and this rant on this second remake of The Blob, you know. So screw that film. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned on the next movie review. And see you later.